Welcome to HVTV. I'm Larry Mall, and these are my two co-hosts, Marla Makita and Martin Gerster. For our first story, we have reporter Chris Nelson interviewing Senior Class President Brooke Sudlow. Chris?
Hi, I'm Chris Nelson interviewing Brooke Sudlow, Senior Class President. How you doing, Brooke, old friend?
Good to see you, Chris. I'm glad to be here. By the way, just excuse my beard. I didn't get to shave. Pressing engagements, couldn't get in.
All right. Well, everybody's been asking me, Brooke, what do you think about this drug-free school zone going on?
You mean the 1,000-foot rule? Well, to be honest with you, when Mr. Crilley explained it in gym, I wasn't particularly interested. I don't use drugs, so I had no reason to pay attention. But I do think it is invasion of privacy. I think, you know, 1,000 feet off school property, and it's investigating people. It's going into their private lives. In other words, even if you don't have the drugs, they're infringing on your rights. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's 1,000 feet off school property, but you're not free because whether or not you have drugs.
So how do you feel about students doing drug and alcohol?
In school, period?
Well, in general.
Well, I don't think it's too much of a problem in this school. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot worse schools. It's not a problem. It doesn't run rampant. You don't see drugs in school every day. At least I don't.
Brooke, so how was it being president? Was it what you hoped for?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. One of the reasons I wanted to be president, and it worked out well, was I wanted to be as close to the class as possible. You know, last year, you know, you won't see these people that often after this, and I wanted to be as close as possible. And through the presidency, I think I really got there. It's a lot of work. A lot of phone calls have to be made, you know, dealing with the money and whatnot, meetings, things like that. But, you know, it's nice. You get to see a different perspective of the class.
All right, well, we know you couldn't make any changes because you're a senior. But what changes do you think should be made?
Should be made, that's a good, I think the late rule, which is one, it has affected me. I know I know a lot of people that have been affected by it, and I can see their point by saying, you know, if I'm 1 minute late, why should I get the detentions and whatnot? But then again, you also have to think, hey, if you're not going to be here by 8 o'clock, you know, you're going to be late. I think the late rule does need some change. I think that 1,000-foot rule is shaky. I can see where a lot of people would be against that. And for years we've been hearing about a need for the change of the study hall policy, and that might be overdue.
So what advice would you give the next president?
I would say, well, the first thing is, you're in for a lot of work, especially during this year. There's a lot of stuff you got to keep up with. So work hard is the first thing. You be ready to work hard. Number two, don't let them get to, you know, you can't satisfy everyone in the class. And I think at times people got mad at me, but it's hard, you know. You just simply can't satisfy all the people. You have to do your best to get as many on your side as you can.
Think you could have been better prepared, Brooke?
Yes, I do. I think, I'll tell you, I'm a procrastinator by nature, and that's one thing that hurt me
Me too.
in being president. I think if I had been ready to work harder, and not that I didn't know the work wasn't there, but just that maybe I didn't work as hard as I should have. But overall, I have enjoyed being president, and I wouldn't have traded in for anything. It's a great experience.
And now, Darren Williamson and his crack team of investigative reporters, Chuck Hoke and J.J. Williamson, answer the question, what do you do with your study hall time? Darren?
Hello, this is Darren Williamson reporting live for HVTV. The question is, what do you actually do with your study hall time?
It's me.
This girl here is on the phone during her study hall. Is that legal? Obviously not. She's very embarrassed. We've caught her right in the act. Any comments?
What? It's, who's this? HVTV, Allie.
She's talking to Allie. Isn't this a study hall? Aren't you supposed to be doing study hall work?
Yeah.
Why aren't you?
'Cause I'm on the phone. Well, my quarter's gonna run out, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Obviously, study hall is no longer used for study hall time.
The next interview will be with a respected teacher whom all of us should be familiar with. Here's Larry with Mr. Hutchinson.
Hi there, I'm Larry Muller reporting for Hopewell Valley Television, and I'm here today with Mr. Hutch, who's planning to retire at the end of this year. What did you do before you became a teacher?
Well, Larry, I'm happy to be here, I might say, the first place. But I had about 14, 16 different jobs, ranged all the way from I was advertising manager for a concern, and I pumped gas. and I had about 15 jobs in between.
Yeah. What made you decide to become a teacher?
While I was in college, one day the teacher decided that all students should take over a class for one day and teach the lesson. And I never thought much about teaching, but I took over a class and taught the lesson, and I loved it. And right there, that day, I decided that's for me.
What college did you attend and for how many years?
I went to Trenton State College for 4 and Rutgers afterward.
I know you've been teaching at Hopewell for several years now, but exactly how long has it been?
At Hopewell 40 years and a half year before I came here.
Really? Have the students changed much since you've been teaching here?
Yes and no. They really haven't changed. They sort of move in cycles. For example, when I first came here, they were pretty free, easy. Then they got strict. And then in the 70s, they got sort of laid back and free and easy again. Now I think the tendency is toward a more disciplined, controlled atmosphere.
Yeah. What are the best and worst experiences you've had here at Hopewell Valley?
Oh, there have been 1,000 best. A couple that stand out in mind, besides teaching, that's the best experience of all. But a couple that stand out in my mind. One was, I remember I was class advisor for a class for 4 years, and in June, I was totally surprised. They sent my wife and me to Bermuda for a week.
Huh. That's nice.
Another time, I was class advisor for 4 years, and at the end of the time, you know, usually the senior class gives the class a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, gives the school a gift. I had a serious eye operation, and instead of giving the class a gift, they gave me a check for a few $100. It was a nice surprise, too. As to worst experience, all my worst experiences have been with principals and superintendents, and they're in the past, and I'm not going to go into them.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about teaching?
Well, I like literature a little better than composition, and I love to teach Shakespeare. $100. I've been teaching Hamlet for 30 or 40 years, and each time I teach it, I find something new. I really do. I find something new in the play I haven't seen before. I could give you some examples about that, but I'd take too long.
All right. Who's the student that you most remember and why?
Oh, boy, I couldn't single out any one student. Yeah. I couldn't single out any one student, and there have been a few thousand, but I couldn't pick any one.
So what are your plans after retirement?
Zilch.
Zilch?
I'm a little apprehensive about it, and I don't exactly have any particular plans. Eventually, I'm going to do something, I suppose, but as of right now, I'm not having any plan, nothing specific at all.
Okay, well, thanks for being here, and I've never had a chance for you to be my teacher, but I'm sure it would have been good.
Well, I appreciate your asking me, and I certainly enjoyed the interview. Thank you very much.
Here we are, live, in the cafeteria for HVTV. This is a study hall. Look at what this man here is doing. Sleeping. Is this what you do every day in your study hall?
Sometimes, yeah.
Do you ever do schoolwork?
Not really.
See, obviously, study halls, a waste of time. Gives man a class.
In our next story, Marla Makita tries to find out what making the school lunch entails. Here's Marla at the cafeteria.
And hi, what is your name?
Hello, Judy Bradley.
Okay, and how did you first get started in this line of work?
Darned if I know, it's been so long ago.
And how long does it take to prepare a lunch?
We're live in the cafeteria.
Okay, how long does it take to prepare pizza?
Oh, you have to take it out of the box. You have to put the cheese on it, and you have to put it in the oven, and whatever. I've never measured the time. I know we're in here from 6:30 in the morning on, preparing lunches.
What is your name?
Carol Schwartz.
Okay, and what lunch do you feel is the most popular among the kids?
The hoagie, I guess.
Okay, the hoagie. And approximately how long does it take to make the lunches for all these kids?
All morning.
Okay.
From 7:15 till about 10:30.
Okay, and what is your name?
Louise.
Okay, and how popular are the desserts among the kids?
They're great.
Are they? And what dessert would you say is the most popular?
I don't know, really. She'd have to answer because I'm a sub. I guess the tasty cakes are the most popular.
Okay, and how much are the tasty cakes?
50 cents.
Okay. Gosh, expensive. Inflation here. And do many kids attempt to steal food?
I think so.
Okay. And how do you feel when the students make crude remarks about the food? Do you get deeply hurt or?
No. You don't?
Okay.
No, I don't.
When students are in line, do they make remarks? Do you ever hear them saying? Do you hear them saying things or, oh, we're having this again, or?
Yeah, they do. But unless it's directed at me, I don't acknowledge it. That's all.
Okay. I'd like to thank you for your time. Thank you. Okay, we're here in the cafeteria with some students here, and here we have Jen Mason and Don Wyckoff, and we're going to ask them some questions about the cafeteria, the lunch food and stuff. And what is your favorite food? My favorite food is the dessert. The dessert? Okay, and what dessert do you buy most often? Usually peanut butter tasty cakes. Okay, and Don, what lunch do you buy most often, if you buy lunch? Like Jen doesn't.
Like I don't either.
Okay, then do you buy desserts?
Yeah,
And what is your favorite dessert?
pretzels.
Okay, and I would like to ask you, how do you both feel about the rising prices among the food? Does it discourage you to buy more certain kinds of food, or do you just spend more money and buy the foods that you like the best?
I usually just spend more money and buy the foods I like the best.
How about you, Don? Do you spend more money?
No,
You don't buy the foods that have gone up in price?
no.
Okay. Okay, Steve, I'd like to ask you, what is your favorite food?
Cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak, okay. How about desserts?
Ice cream.
Ice cream? Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Approximately how many students or percentage of students actually do work in your study hall?
Well, I have no idea because every day there are different students here and different numbers. But I would say that at least half of the students really study during study hall. At least half, at least.
You said those students who are sometimes in study halls. When those students aren't in study halls, where do you think they are? Perhaps on the telephone?
Don't put words in my mouth. Some students have to get lunch because they don't have regular lunch periods, and they go and they participate in labs. Some students go to the library. Some students work together on a project. I don't know where they go.
She still thinks study hall is used for study time only.
It does. Not only. I think study hall is used for study time. Many students who don't have study halls are very upset by that, and they feel very pressured.
Thank you very much for your comments, Dr. Vogel.
Now, for an unprecedented first, Darren Williamson and Carrie Sked show us exactly what it takes to cut Chris Nelson's hair.
What made you decide to get your hair cut, Chris?
My mom decided for me. I didn't decide. If it was up to me, it'd be longer.
Carrie, what made you choose to study cosmetology?
Probably that I like what I'm doing. Other than that, I wouldn't.
Chris, why did you choose Carrie to cut your hair?
'Cause she's cheap.
That's a good reason.
She did it before.
She did it before?
Yeah.
Really? What's a typical day like for you at VOTech, Carrie?
We have related studies, and then we do hands-on on mannequins, and on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have people come in from the outside and get their hair cut.
Do you get paid for,
The
people?
vocational school gets the money, and we usually get tips. Chris, do you want this spiked on top?
No.
No?
Go for it. How much hair do you want Carrie to cut off?
Not too much.
Not too much?
Want something different.
How do your parents feel about how long your hair is? No.
What do you think? They hate it.
That's why it's
you're
getting
it
cut.
That's why it's cut.
Because grandmom's coming from Florida.
Carrie, what do you plan to do after graduation?
Work
Work?
at Artistic Designs next to Tide People's Bakery.
Is that a place to cut hair?
Mm-hmm.
No.
How long have you been cutting hair?
2 years. 2 years of knowing what I'm doing. 3 without.
Where do you work?
Artistic Designs, which is in Pennington Square Shopping Center next to Tide People's Bakery.
Oh, you've already started working there?
Yep.
Has your training at VOTech helped you?
A lot. But I think I learned more of working on the job than I did from VOTech.
Do you often cut your friends' hair?
Yes. all the time.
Do you charge your friends any?
No,
No?
I pay it.
he forces it on me.
You pay?
Yeah.
That's good. Do you think there's a future in cosmetology?
Yeah, right now it's the second largest money maker in the U.S. after car making.
Huh.
Yeah, just hold still.
Chose the wrong field.
Thanks a lot, Carrie. And Chris?
Bye, Darren.
Bye.
Chris, all I have is one more bag.
Shannon, hand to the right.
This is not my idea.
I don't know what she's telling.
Yes, you do. Okay, Chris.
You have about 5 minutes.
Turn your head upside down.
I'm done?
No. You want a mirror? Get up. Get up. You look ridiculous.
Here we are in the cafeteria. Once again, these two students left the room as soon as we came over and hid something in their book. Ha 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 ha. As soon as we saw them doing this, they left the room and now they have just returned. Did Dr. Vogel know where you went and why you left the room so quickly?
No. Yes. Yes. Maybe.
Yes, no, maybe so. What actually is the question?
And now we're going to have the opportunity to hear some opinions from students from other countries. Here's reporter Kent Winterode with the 3 exchange students, Patty De Silva, Pia Zanunin, and Ann Schroeder.
Hi, I'm Kent Winterode, and I'm interviewing 3 foreign exchange students for Hopewell Valley TV. We have Ann Schroeder from Denmark, Pia Zanunin from Indonesia, and Patty De Silva from Venezuela. I'd like to ask you a few questions. How did you first get involved with the AFS, Ann?
My uncle went here 20 years ago with AFS, and he was very, very happy for that experience, so I thought I might give it a try too.
Okay, Pia?
Okay, one day my dad came from his office and told me that I got to sign up for the AFS test. So then I tried for the first time, and well, I didn't want to go for at first, but then after I finished the first test, I got psych, and then I go for like AFS.
Patty?
Well, 2 years ago, my family helped a girl from California, so I started to go with her to her meetings and everything. So I get involved, and I was lucky, and I came to the United States.
Was the United States your first choice as a country? Ann?
Yeah, it was, because my uncle went here, and first I didn't even know that AFS sent the students to other countries.
Pia?
Yeah, me too. Well, I want to go to Japan, but I couldn't, so I came to the United States.
What stereotypes did you have about the United States, and did they hold true when you came here?
Well, not really. I thought about Dynasty and Miami Vice and Coca-Cola, and when I came to Pennington, that was not exactly what I saw. But the first 2 weeks here, I cried all the time because I don't know, I was everything was so new and different, and it wasn't what I expected. But now I'm very happy.
Pia?
Well, I have like a lot of stereotypes. I think about a lot of things about the United States, but well, one thing is I remember it's like about AIDS. Well, when I got that I got replaced in the United States, and people like I got replaced in the United States, and they said like, Pia, watch out for AIDS. And, so when I came here, I was like thinking about AIDS, like people with AIDS everywhere. So. Well, I've been here like for 8 months, but I haven't met any AIDS people in it. So, okay, every time I write a letter, I say like, I don't have AIDS.
That's good. Patty?
Well, before I came with AFS, I've been in the United States like 5 times before. But I thought I was going to come like a big city because Venezuela is in a big city. So when I came to Pennington, I'm like, okay, fine. I live in Hopewell, so small. But I don't know. It's different, but I like a lot.
What positive and negative things have you found in the United States?
Positive things. I like the people a whole lot. I have a lot of friends here, and I think they're really, really nice. And negative things, I hate peanut butter and jelly. And I think the school is kind of hard.
Yeah. Okay. Pia?
The positive thing is, like, I like the education system here. You can go like wherever you want, and then you can study the course what you want. And then all the facilities is very good too. I like it a lot. And then, well, the negative thing is like, well,
oh, the climate.
Oh yeah, the climate is so. I mean, like, my country is a tropical country, so it was very, very hard for me to adjust at first.
Yeah, you saw snow here the first time.
Yeah,
right?
I saw snow for the first time too.
Patty, what did you
Well,
find
the
positive?
positive thing, I think, is the people that are finding here. And then the negative could be to both. Like, the weather is like in Pia country. And then I think the people here is all the time so busy. I mean, just everything has to be fast. You don't have time to, I don't know how to explain, but
Is your country more laid back than America?
yes, it's back, but not really back. I don't mean that. I mean, like, the teenagers have to go to school, they have to work, they have to do the homework, they sleep, and every single day is the same thing. There is not. It's different.
Yeah.
If you could do it over again, would you? Would you come to the United States, the
Yeah,
AFS?
definitely, I would. But I guess I would be more prepared for it. But yeah, I would come back.
How could you be more prepared for it?
Because when I came here, I didn't really know what it was. I was thinking about New York and the Statue of Liberty and all this, and that was not it at all. I had to, like, make new friends, and it's kind of a new life.
Yeah.
You can walk, of course, but you have to learn to speak the language, and you have to make new friends, and you have a new family, and you have to learn to fit in.
Okay, Pia?
Yeah, I certainly would go back here again.
Would you want to stay another year, maybe?
Well, I can, because just 1 year.
I will too. But we can, it's AFS rule, after 2 years, you can't come back.
No?
Yeah, when we go home, we can't come back for 2 years.
But we're going to try.
We are.
What are you going to tell your friends when you go back to your foreign countries? What are you going to tell them about America?
I'm going to change their minds about what I said before, all the soap operas, and I want to tell them about how the people are here. And, well, some of the things you do are very different. I said I didn't really like the school. I think it's very competitive, especially, well, I don't know, this school I think is. And I think that, as Patty said, there are so many things you do after school. And you go to school, you come home at 3, and then you might do a sport, and then you come home at 5:30, and then you do your homework, and then you sleep, and then it just goes on like that all the time. You don't have a lot of spare time, and I think that's hard. And I'll tell people home that it's not like fame and all these things. It's also hard work. And
do you have a song that you'd like to sing for us?
Oh my God, no. We heard a song for the AFS senior, but we're not.
Go ahead, sing it.
Come on, sing it. Okay, just a few. I was scared, okay?
Okay, we all sing.
Okay, we're gonna sing just the first, I don't know, whatever. 1, 2, 3. I was scared, I was confused, I felt alone even in a crowded place. Everybody was happy, everybody was having fun, but I was so sad, 'cause I didn't know anyone. That's all. That's all. It's finished.
That was very good. Thank you for coming and sharing your time with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Aaron Burns, what are you actually doing with your study hall time?
Needlework.
What were you doing in the bathroom? Wasting time?
Yeah.
Do you plan on doing any schoolwork this period?
No.
Obviously, this study hall is not actually being used for study hall time.
That's it for this segment of HVTV. For my co-hosts Martin and Marla, and for all of us here at HVTV, good day.